welcome back to the channel. Boy, do we got a recap for Married at First Sight, Season 9, Australia, Episode 17. Because we had a groom that walks out on the first experiment. But before we unpack this, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button and also drop a comment down below. And thank you guys for all of the new subscribers for this new season. I really appreciate it. So, they've had their fairy tale weddings. They've had very mixed honeymoons. But it's time for these couples to move in together into the next stage of the experiment. And this week is Confession Week, where the experts send the brides and grooms tasks designed to help them develop more in a deeper and emotional connection with each other. So after all of our couples into their apartments and they act surprised seeing their wedding day photos besides the bedside table, which has been almost done about every other season, nothing new, it's time for them to take their tasks. Let's talk about our first couple. So Holly starts off by burning sage around herself, around Andrew, to get rid of the bad juju or the bad vibes. She pops a little sign that says love next to her wedding day photo. So again, she's manifesting a healthy relationships. Now, their first Confession Week task is to write each other a letter and share something personal with their partner. Well, did we get real personal? Why? Well, he confesses to Holly that not only does he love sex, he likes to explore sex, he loves celebrating sex, he's a very sexual person, and he's roughly had 350 sexual partners in the past. Now, Holly asked probably much of what everybody else was asking. How did you keep track of that? And he broke it down real mathematically to a sexual or a new sexual partner once a week over a period of 7 years. And he even said, well, you know what? You'll benefit from my experience in the bedroom. So he's willing to teach her some things. But I guess some people might consider what he said rude, but Holly definitely, ignored that comment. She was like, you know what? That's cool. I can appreciate you wanting to share that with me. No judgment from me. And I'm like, okay, let's keep it moving then. I know a lot of people in the comment section had a lot to say about that. So when Holly reads her letter, she opens up about her wanting to have a baby, her fear of missing out, and being in the bottom 3% for egg count for people her age. Now, she would be considered at this point, when you're over 35, you're considered, if you get pregnant, geriatric pregnancy. And even she said that she kind of, I guess, mismanaged her years. She waited too long to have a baby, getting in a relationship or getting married a little bit earlier, so her childbearing, process would have been available more to her. Well, at this point, she's 36 and yeah, she wants a baby real bad before it's pretty much off the table. On the flip side of that, she is fearful about whether or not what she's saying to him is going to scare him away. And she even says that, like I said, she says she feels like a failure for being 36 and childless. Now, while we see Andrew is being very warm and supporting in that moment toward Holly, the groom, on the other hand, inside is feeling that this might be a little too much pressure for him. So he starts to distance himself. And then he comes back to the table and says that I don't think we're on the same page. We couldn't be on more separate pages. I wouldn't want to waste your time, to be honest with you. And I feel like I'm not the one. And of course, Holly didn't take that news well at all. She was definitely upset. She felt she shared her deepest, darkest fear, and she think it backfired on him. She thinks she scared him. He's running and blocking me out. He's written me off, she said, and didn't even give her a chance. Now, here's the thing. Now, again, over here, I call things down the middle. I also call this the fault of the experts, because when you put two people together on certain core values, one of them being sex, children, finances, and life goals. One of those things in this case being children, because remember, Andrew has a child already. So did you not know, experts, that he didn't want kids? And then on the flip side, did you not know that Holly, on the other hand, wanted kids desperately? Why would you put those two together? That's a core value when somebody wants more kids or not have kids or want a child. I mean, seriously. So I kind of want to fault the experts on putting them together. You can't put a person that don't want kids or more kids with somebody who desperately want them. Anywho, Holly, honestly, you need to know this now. Because if he doesn't want to have kids and you want them, somebody's going to compromise. And it doesn't look like he wants to because he has a child. Wouldn't you want to be with someone who wants children with you, and soon at that? Because at 36, I mean, it's possible, that the possibility is there that you can have kids at an older age, but what is the probability of that? And how easy is it going to be? Yes, it does happen, but a large majority at that age is usually off the table, which is why she's so afraid of the situation that she's in. So, with that being said, I will want to know up front if the person that I'm with want to have children. If they tell me they don't, it might not be a good fit for me to be with that person, especially at this age when I need to go find somebody who wants to have children with me right away. So that's the other thing. Now, the sex thing, he was willing to work with her on that. Kind of showing her some things. When you have one person that's a more experienced than the other, if the two of them work out together and, figure out some things and teach the other some things, that's what these quote unquote sex toy stores and books and all the stuff that they sell, they can actually, help enhance and spice up things in the bedroom. So I don't think he had an issue there pretty much. His issue was the fact of being brutally honest about the sex thing. And he was like, I would rather tell you the truth than not tell you at all, or tell you something that you want to hear, and then you find out later I wasn't being honest, and you'll be hurt even worse. I mean, yeah, it came across brash, but I think you will want to know that, and she was willing to work on the sex thing with him. She didn't judge him on the 350 partners. So I find that pretty darn interesting that the baby situation is what shifted it. But there was a little bit more that comes with this. So let's move on. So then the couple reaches a new low just in time for the photo ranking task to arrive. And Holly goes first. And yeah, she went there. You were very charming for the first few days. You were charming on our wedding day. I fell for you. I slept with you. I was invested in you. You were a good looking guy. You were there. And then she initially placed his photo first on the front of all the other grooms. But right now she turned around in reverse and told him, you giving me no attention. You giving me no warmth. And you do not make me feel good enough or attractive enough. Now, because of the fact that a lot of people can't deal with brutally direct and, people that are directly honest. Because he spoke his truth, but the delivery, some people can't handle what's being, handed out to them. And Andrew responded by telling Holly that he does not feel responsible for how she feels because he's been honest. And that's where it gets like in the gray area, because one thing, yeah, you're honest, but the person on the receiving end feels like it may be an attack. Now, the whole sex thing, I know that they got past supposedly, and they were going to work on that. But obviously it's still, not sitting well with Holly. And then on the flip side, when it comes to the babies and things like that, he's just telling you, I don't want a kid. I have a kid right now, and you want one like now. So, I mean, I don't know of any other way to kind of put that. It wasn't like he yelled. He wasn't screaming. He was just very direct. And when you deal with very direct and straightforward people, sometimes when you're an emotional person on the receiving end, it's hard to receive that. So that's the thing when it comes to this situation. But he turns around and take his photo and say, you know what, you don't even have to put me at the front. Put me at the back. It's not going to change any way how I feel about myself, because I'm happy about the fact that I've been honest with you. I don't feel responsible for how you feel. That's not my responsibility. That is your responsibility. Now, do I think how you act around people can have an effect? It can bring energy in the room, but you are responsible for your emotions and how you choose to feel about something. That's the truth. I mean, even though I know in this situation, this is her spouse. So, of course, you're going to want that person to take care of your, I guess, manage how they act around you and how you respond to them. On the flip side, they've only known each other, 2 days, 3 days? So it's not like they've been around each other for 3 years, right? So the thing is that how do you deal with a situation where you want your truth? Because most people say, I want my partner to be honest and communicate with me. Yeah, but when they are honest, sometimes those honesty statements and truths can be hard to hear. Do you really want that? And I think most people do. It's just that sometimes they're hard to deal with. So this turns into a huge argument. Andrew walks away from the conversation that, was needed to be had. Holly is unable to even look at Andrew as she calls him out for not wanting to make the relationship work. Holly tries to talk. Andrew tries to interrupt. It escalates. Holly eventually, exploded at him, yelling at him for not being capable, for letting her finish a sentence. This is where we see Andrew leaves. And he pretty much told the producers he's going home. I'm going home to my daughter. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm going home. And this is not something that I even want to deal with. So we see him jump on the elevator and the door's pretty much shut behind him. So that's what happens when you deal with a person who is a lot more emotional versus a person that deals strictly in logic. When you have two logical people that is, pretty much this is your truth, this is my truth, I manage my emotions, you manage your emotions, and we deal with it that way, you probably won't have these issues. But when you have two different dynamics, where he's direct in logic and she's more emotional and in feelings, you're going to have a problem like this, because an emotional person, they're going to feel everything, and including what a logic direct person they deal out to them. So I don't know about these two. I've heard rumors / spoilers that they supposed to get back into the experiment. We'll have to wait and see what the upcoming episodes are. But I honestly think she should move on. I mean, especially due to the fact that she wants children at this late age of 36. And she wants them now. She needs to find a partner who wants children around that same age or whatever, who is ready to have kids like right now. I mean, that's the biggest thing. The whole sex thing, they could have worked through. But if he's a hard stop on no kids and she wants him now, that's not going to work. So let's talk about our next couple. So we're going to talk a little bit about Sam and Al. So after we see Al did a shooey at the dinner party, Samantha has pretty much deemed him into the friend zone. And his domestic skills are not helping him get out at the moment. So she decided she's going to pop his cherry, and this is meaning showing him how to do laundry. Now, I will give it to him. He's trying. He is definitely trying to impress her, which slowly is kind of cracking that, breaking that ice between he and Samantha. But, I mean, even though he struggled to kind of open the laundry powder detergent, he actually gets it done and put the laundry in and, put the soap in. And, hey, he did his first load of laundry. So they had to do the photo ranking challenge too. And Al ranked Sam first in the front of the MILF, as he called it, Celine. Yeah, if he only knew. But Sam put Al third behind Andrew and Anthony, who have lived experience. Now, Al is definitely stunned to be placed behind the older grooms, and possibly by the revelation that he has not truly lived. I mean, you did do a shooey last night. He did say it knocked his confidence, and Sam explains that she's more attracted to a mature look, and that Al not being mature enough is bringing his attractiveness down. Poor thing. I'm hoping that he kind of, I guess, with her, she's willing to work with him. It's not like she's sitting back in the corner being upset and pissed off and mad and like, how did they put me with this younger dude? He's so immature. She's actually willing to work with him because there's obviously other things that she like about him. She did say he was attractive physically, but without the experience and the immaturity, it kind of brings down that attractiveness to her. So, speaking of MILF, let's talk about Celine and Anthony. So after their disastrous, whatever happened with these two at the dinner party, it definitely comes to no surprise that Anthony and Celine settle into separate apartments. Now, they do take on the letter writing task where Celine opens up about her difficulties on giving birth to her son and the struggles that came after, revealing how she needed to be strong for her son. But that's all we really got from this episode with these two. I mean, they were pleasant, had a sweet moment, kind of bringing them close together. But yeah, after last night with her lack of not being accountable and manipulating the room, and him being vulnerable and overly apologetic, those two are another one that if they're not on the same page either. But in this moment, we kind of saw a soft side. We didn't get much. So let's talk about our next couple. So we got Tamara and Brent, and hey, they consummated their marriage. So they went ahead and got it done. So it was their turn to do their task, and they actually got to look at audition tapes, which Tamara's definitely kind of had Brent give her the side eye. She in her audition tape, she was saying how if a guy wears fake designer clothes or drives an ugly car or don't have a good job or money, unfortunately, I'm just not interested. And yeah, she was not. She was cringing. She definitely was cringing. And she even tears up after, listening to it because it made her look pretentious. And Brent calls her tape a terrible thing to watch. Like I said, she got emotional. She revealed she doesn't want to have to look after people anymore. And what she meant by that, she didn't want to be used by guys for their money. So it wasn't like she was being snooty, I guess, in her opinion. Her opinion was she was attracting guys who wanted to get taken care of, and not taken care of as if, she didn't want to be in a situation where the guy was a leech off of her. But Brent agrees with Tamara that the tape is not what she's really like because, they've learned some things about each other, and managing this, it all brought them kind of closer. So I guess so much so for that, pretentious tape that she had, because I mean, whatever she was feeling, she definitely has shown a softer side to Brent, and he sees it, because he could have been like, oh, this is what I'm dealing with. Oh, I'm out. Nope. He actually remembered a few days and the softer sides and the playfulness that they've done. She apologized for that whole thing at the wedding. So he's pretty much cool at this point. And I like that. You're doing the work. You're taking the time to, see through your own personal experience with this person. So let's move on to our final couple. So right now they're in the middle of a whirlwind romantic love story. And it even continues after this point when Olivia got to watch Jackson's audition tape. And she got to learn a little bit more about how Jackson protected his mom when someone assaulted her in the past, and how he took on more of a guardian role with his sisters. And, for her, it showed that Jackson has a lot of great character about himself. And, I honestly think that they're probably going to end up being the top couple. I'm still curious about Ella and Mitch, because they are just spicy hot. They look good together. Their connection is ultra sultry. So I'm curious about them, and we'll probably get to see more of them in the next episode, along with probably Dominica as well and her husband, which, while she's worried about what Celine and her husband got going on, she needs to be figuring out what's going on in her situation. But we'll see. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys for all of the new subscribers. Mention if you're a new subscriber, since I've been actually running the videos on Married at First Sight Australia Season 9. I love to say hello. I usually respond to you guys, even if it's with a little heart. But until the next video, we'll see you soon. Bye.